Okay, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see you all joining in. And for those watching the replay later, I hope you find the information helpful. I've been practicing law for over 20 years here in Dutchess County, and it has always been part of my practice, whether as a prosecutor or in private practice, to really try and get to know whether it be my victim or my client, and what services can we provide them in addition to whatever actual immediate legal issue we have in front of us. And there are so many wonderful services for veterans in Dutchess County that most in the legal community have absolutely no idea exist. So I wanted to take this opportunity as a resource for members of the legal community to get to know the wonderful free services and programs that we have here for veterans in Dutchess County. And these wonderful providers welcome, communication. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out for them. They're going to provide their contact information. I'm more than happy to be a resource as well. And I think it's important that we just hear from them. So maybe Adam, do you want to start first as the County Veteran Affairs Chair?
We can do that. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adam Roach. I'm the director here for Dutchess County Division of Veteran Services. Just a little bit about what we do here at our office. We have 2 certified counselors who are accredited through New York State and also the American Legion. What we do is we get veterans the benefits that they don't really know that they're out there for them. We can sit down with a veteran and discuss exactly through his or her service record book to determine exactly what they're entitled for. That's just a little bit that we do here at the county. Deb, thanks for putting that up there. But other than that, I really wanted to set this up with thank you so much, Judge Siegel, for this, to let you guys know exactly what we have, the plethora of services that we have in Dutchess County, which is more than other counties in the area. And that's something that the MHA of Dutchess Veterans teams, they're going to talk about each thing that they can assist with you in this. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dev.
All right. So we kind of jumped around here on the slide deck. So yeah, we are Mental Health America of Dutchess County Veterans Programs. We have many programs to offer. We have my team here. We have Anthony Kavoris, who's the director of the Veterans Programs. He's also the Vet to Vet program manager. We also have Alyssa Carrion, who is our Hero program manager. We have Tyler Mendelson here. He is our Vet Tap program manager. I tag along with him on that. And we also have New York Project Hope that we'll get into. But let me slide over to the next slide. And these are the programs that we were mentioning. So we have the POC Vet to Vet, POC Joseph P. Dwyer Vet to Vet program, the Vet Tap program, Hero program, Project Hope, Vet Zero, which is attached to Hudson River Housing, and that's Tommy Zerhelen. The Dutchess County VSO, Mr. Adam Roach, and then we'll go over additional resources.
Hey Deb, my slide is still the Dutchess County Division slide.
Okay. Yeah. Did that change?
Yep.
All right. So Anthony.
All right. The PFC Dwyer grant is a state-funded grant that came to our county several years ago, and we've been running it ever since. It is a veteran peer service program, and you can see that picture. That was actually PFC Dwyer, and he lost his battle with depression and substance abuse after coming back from his deployment, and the program was basically named after him. And we basically have a whole bunch of peer mentors. They're all veterans who can go one-on-one with veterans and kind of be like their battle buddy, trying to help them reintegrate into society or whatever other situations they might be facing. It's a network of peer support groups, as it says, always facilitated by a veteran. We can match any veteran to a peer mentor that's kind of we try to, we don't always go just by age or era by era. We don't always try to match a Vietnam veteran with a Vietnam veteran. It's really goes, we got to play it by each individual is different and their wants are different, but we definitely try to match the right veteran to their peers. So we have case management, advocacy, support, connections to basically every other veteran resource in the county. We're very well connected. Everybody knows us. We know them. So if we can't do something for a veteran in our office, we definitely know who to refer them to. Our social activities are awesome. They're always free to veterans. We have a couple coming up this year. It's a really good way for veterans that have been isolating to get back out and meet the rest of the veterans that are in the community and start socializing again. We liaison, as I said, with other veteran service organizations, all the ones that Devin mentioned and more. So that's basically what we do. This office, as he said, also runs the HERO program, which Alyssa will talk about, the VETAP program, which Devin will talk about. And we also just got the Project Hope. I guess we'll wait a little bit further to talk about the Project Hope and what that is. It really just complements what we've already doing, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So who's next? VETAP is next, right? Well,
Yep.
I should say, anybody have any questions too, you can definitely ask me.
Yeah, I think that'll be in the chat box, correct, Judge?
Yeah, we can absolutely, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. One of the basic things I always tell my fellow attorneys is when you do your intake forms, or if you're involved somehow in contact, whether, I know there's probation department and other people joining in, but part of the basic question on your intake should be whether or not your client has any military background or any military history, because they may be coming to you for something like a DWI, but in the course of talking to them, you may find out they can't pay their rent and they're worried about being evicted. And so, MHA does have services and assistance. And now that you know that, you can keep an eye out or, refer them to a place for help. Oftentimes we see domestic violence or discharging of a firearm. So maybe they're in family court, or maybe it's a local court, a minor offense, but what is the real reason behind the behavior? So part of the reason I put this together, and that I'm encouraging the legal community to start taking a closer look at who their clients are and find out a little bit more about them and their background, so that you can provide the opportunity for all these wonderful services.
Yes, and Judge, just to caveat off of that, we do at the end of the slideshow have a basic intake form.
Okay.
That we're going to talk about, just sample questions that kind of drive home your point that you were just mentioning.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll put all the phone numbers down before we end this call. I should have mentioned too that we do CIT training with the local police departments. So so that's another connection that we have, is with the local police departments. Yeah. I'm echoing. Devin, can you? Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's better. So we do partner with the local police. They frequently call us when they have a situation with a veteran who is not cooperating, and we will go and help them, talk them out of a room, or talk them into going with the police if necessary. So I just wanted to let everybody know that we do have that connection too. All right. Thank you.
Great. Now we'll go into the VETAP, and we have our program manager who runs that, Tyler Mendelson.
Hi. So VETAP is Veterans Employment Training and Transitions Assistance Program. We got this grant through the Department of Labor. They have what's called the HVRP, which is Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program. And it's through the Department of Labor's Veteran Division. And basically, we specifically focus on helping those who are homeless and at risk, as well as recently incarcerated veterans. And there's also a added focus on women veterans and finding them employment. And we do this through various means. mainly, we'll start from the ground up. We'll build resumes or make their resumes stronger that they already have. We do job searches. We connect with local employers and find connections through them and try to get them in that way. And we also help prepare them for, interviews. We get different clothing, for suits and things like that, so we can have them prepared to walk into an interview. And we also help pay for things like certifications and licenses. So if a veteran is interested in getting a license for something, but they don't have the means to do it, then we can provide that through our program. And, we'll sit there and counsel the veterans for the best course of actions to take, things that we recommend for their own career goals. And it's definitely been a vital program that we've had here. And we're on our second year now. We just reapplied for our third year, which will be the final grant year of this actual grant period. It's a 3-year grant. And then we will reapply again. But this second year is now wrapping up for June, and it's been very successful.
So that was our employment program. Now I'm going to switch it over to our hero program manager, Miss Alyssa Carrion, for her take.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm the third wing of kind of our wraparound services that we have here, which is probably the most important part of our services, is that they are very wraparound. By adding both the peer mentoring with the employment and then my housing side, we're able to kind of help people rebuild completely rather than just one avenue of their life. And my program is a Dutchess County funded grant. Our primary goal is obviously to reduce homelessness in Dutchess County for veterans. So we can do some short-term hotel stays depending on the circumstances. We can help with rental arrears. We also help find veterans new housing. So if we're working with a homeless veteran, we can help them put in applications. We can talk to landlords on their behalf. And depending on the circumstances, we can help cover initial move-in fees sometimes as well. And in addition to all of that, we help with reaching out to any other agencies that can help with getting people into housing. There are other local organizations in the area that help with things like furniture, and we do help connect people to resources for past due bills for like utilities and stuff like that as well. That's me, Dev.
All right. Now we're going to jump over to what Anthony was alluding to earlier with our newest program, the New York Project Hope. And Anthony, if you want to give an overview and kind of tie this in.
So Project Hope is a federally funded program through FEMA that comes into the state. So the state runs it, but it's federally funded. Basically, it was to address the COVID crisis and all the problems that people were having due to COVID. So we were already in a position with our mentors to take this on for the veteran community, which is what MHA put in for. So there are basically there's 3 Project Hopes in Dutchess County. Our portion is with veterans. And so we used our mentors. We made them crisis counselors for the purposes of the Project Hope. And they go out, they do outreach, they talk to veterans, they find out what kind of issues they're having with COVID, and we give them updates, and like we hook them up to where perhaps they can get a vaccine, or where they can get some other resource, where they can get a test. We also help them with their isolation issues, food issues. I mean, we've done several food drives where we were able to distribute food to people, which was really actually right in the middle of COVID, end of last year, even the beginning of this year was kind of an issue. So we were able to do several food drives, and we We got the food out there for them. We delivered it. And that's basically it. It fills in all the gaps due to COVID. So it's kind of, we were already in a position to do a lot of stuff for veterans anyway. Getting this additional grant was a really boom for us. And that's pretty much, we have our own, there is a hotline number. It's on the screen. If you could see, it's 845-320-2102. And if you call that, there's always someone that's going to be able to answer it, and we can then take it from there if it's a COVID related issue. All right. That's it for COVID.
Oh, right. So now we're going to jump out of kind of MHA services and jump into the additional resources we utilize in the community. One being the Vet Zero, and I'm sure you've heard of Tommy Zerhelen, who is the VFW Post 170 commander, but he also spearheads this organization. I don't know if Tommy's on, but just to basically give a brief synopsis, Vet Zero is part of the Hudson River Housing, and with that, Vet Zero's intended goal is to have zero veteran suicide and zero veteran homelessness in our community and across America. They're based right out of Poughkeepsie, and one of their real main points that is definitely a very big beneficial service to veterans in the community is their Vet Zero ride program. And with that, what they have is basically a driver who has a vehicle and is able to coordinate with other veterans in the community who need to be driven to appointments, such as going to Castle Point. And that's actually a really big success and is definitely a vital resource in the community, because a lot of the clients, a lot of the veterans that we find ourselves working with don't have a reliable means of transportation, or they don't have a driver's license, or all those plethora of issues that circulate or surround transportation, they pretty much struggle with. So this is a wonderful resources that we utilize to get veterans to where they need to go. And Tommy is actually working on getting a second vehicle added to the fleet, basically, and really trying to enhance this program. So it's pretty great.
Devin, if somebody a vet needed a ride to a probation appointment or a court appointment, would this also apply?
This would apply. The only caveat I will say is just scheduling. So scheduling in advance, due to the high volume of veterans that they support and drive around, they need ample time to actually get that on the schedule and prepared.
I put the hotline number in the chat box as well. The hotline number that I put in there is if you have someone who needs a ride, that number is the best way to get the scheduler on the phone.
That's a fantastic resource.
Yeah. So that's that one. I know Adam kind of already went through his slide and kind of, touched on a lot of things. Adam, is there anything else you'd like to add to your piece?
Yes, Deb, I just wanted to let everybody know we do have access to the Dutchess County Jail, where we can go in and speak to veterans on a one-on-one basis to let them know exactly, as I was saying before, what they're entitled to. A lot of the times they have no idea what's out there for them, and there is a lot as far as state benefits and also federal benefits. So I really wanted to highlight that also.
And Adam, you, not to jump on Adam, but he has the Favor Card as well, the Favor Card program that's Dutchess County oriented that really benefits veterans as well. So I know that
the Return the Favor Card, just send your DD-214 to our office. It's going to be honorably discharged veterans. And there's over 275 places in Dutchess County where they can get discounts as far as oil changes, restaurants, things like that. So it's just something that's out there for them.
All right. And to kind of, yep. So Anthony's going to go over our additional resources that we utilize. That's been alluded to multiple times throughout this presentation that he will go over now.
All right, so supportive services for veteran families of the Hudson Valley, SSVF is, there's Soldier On is a SSVF, Westcop is a SSVF. So basically, we use mostly Westcop because they handle our area, and Westcop works very closely with our HERO program. So we definitely work on the clients at the same time. So they have a really huge amount of money in their grant, and so they're a great resource. As basically they would cover first month's rent, maybe a couple of months rent, security deposit. They also help with emergency housing. Most of the veterans in Dutchess County, they'll come through us and then we'll kind of funnel it into Westcop because again, they have way more, but it's a great resource for us and we partner up with them quite frequently. Dutchess County Division of Veteran Services, we already talked, that's Adams. Veteran Affairs, VA Medical Center at Castle Point. Obviously, everybody knows where Castle Point is, also Montrose, and there's the clinics too. And we frequently get calls from them. They have case managers there though that are very, very good. So a lot of times that's one of the best resources we can do is make sure that they go and get registered at the VA and get a case manager for them. The Dutchess County Veterans Task Force is, we kind of run that here. Adam and me, we kind of get together and we have a lot of these different people from these resources and we all get together and discuss how we can better serve the veterans in our community. And we kind of share our information and it's a good way to keep all these resources interconnected. SUNY Dutchess Community College, the VA certifying official. Dutchess Community College is really a great college for veterans. They're very veteran friendly and they have Stuart Doss there as the certifying official and they have a really good veterans club, I guess, that's very active and they have a resource room just for veterans. It's really quite good. So it's definitely a good resource for us. Hudson Valley Veterans Alliance, HVVA. I'm associated with that. Several of us are. It's another great resource, a really good boots on the ground kind of first responders. They don't have any grants. Everything is with donations. So they're allowed to do things that a lot of other agencies aren't allowed to do. So they can go right in there. If they see a need, a veteran shows that he is a veteran, he has DD 214, and he has a serious problem with an oil bill or electric bill or a car insurance, whatever. They vote on it really quick. The board members vote on it. If they say okay, boom, they cut a check for that right off the bat. So it's a really good resource. Very lucky to have it in Dutchess County. Dutchess County Veterans Affairs Committee. Adam's on it. I'm on it. I think Devin's on it. It's run by General Foley. And I don't know, we have some legislators on it and then there's a couple of civilians on it. It's mostly legislators and veterans. And again, it's another resource for the community. It keeps the county connected to what all these resources are doing. Mid-Hudson Addiction Recovery Center, MARC, and MHA services, obviously they're connected with our agency. So when we can't get someone to Montrose or Castle Point, we can't get them to a VA facility for recovery and addiction, we have this resource and it's absolutely fantastic that we have that. We've used it several times to get them addiction services that we couldn't otherwise get. And Dutchess County Chamber of Commerce, Hire a Veteran. We've been doing this with them for a long time. Basically, what the Dutchess County Chamber of Commerce does is for all the businesses in the area that want to participate with this program, if they have a job opening, they will send us a little blurb with the contact number, who to get a hold of, and the job position, and they will send it to us 72 hours prior to posting it anywhere else. So great resource for veterans to get work. And that's all that's on the list. There are other agencies, but it would take, those are the main ones.
So as you can see, we have plenty of additional resources on top of the programs we already offer. And so Judge Siegel, you were mentioning this earlier about, just kind of a intake and, sort of the questions that you were trying to gear towards when working with your client. It doesn't really have to be super in-depth. It doesn't have to be really into the weeds of military service. But if we look at the screen here, just looking at just basics, did you serve, what branch, years, if they know their type of discharge. And then you'll see on there the copy of the DD 214. So that's a DD form 214. When you separate from the service, you get handed this document, and it has your character of service, which is, and then it also has your discharge type. And that's really telling of the benefits that they're entitled to once they leave military service. It helps our programs to get clients. It helps Adam's office when he pushes on behalf of them to the VA. So all those sort of things. That's pretty much like one of the golden documents that we utilize. And then we can also, to go further with that, are you actually registered with the VA? You'll be surprised on how many veterans that are out there that aren't registered with the VA, or even just as simple as registering with Adam's office. And then it can kind of be dual-headed from there, where they register with Adam, and then depending on, their discharge type and their service record, get them enrolled into the VA, because there's a lot of services that the VA can offer as far as like medical and dental are concerned, where they can receive those benefits. So it's pretty much this is a really good, handy kind of basic intake that can be utilized. And I also have on here any services you have received or are currently receiving that are veteran related. So it's kind of like you were mentioning, where, you get talking with your client, and then you realize that, they're behind on rent. And are they seeking services from West Cop SSVF, or are they seeking it from MHA and things like that? So yeah, like I said, this is pretty standard intake. This helps us when we do our intakes, because if we do refer out to other programs, they normally ask for these sort of documents, as well as any IDs, copies of IDs, social security cards, birth certificates, all the basic intake documents that you would need. So
Devin, can you also clarify, you don't need to have active combat or a certain type of service, right? As long as anybody has had a level of service can qualify, right?
essentially, there are a few caveats with that. There's always differing ideas of what is designated as a veteran, especially depends on programs. But normally, yes, it doesn't have to be combat related to answer your question.
Yeah,
But that's some.
Go
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so a lot of the different agencies have different rules, right? So it gets very confusing. But for instance, SSVF, the West Cop Hero Program, that's going to be less stringent on what they need. The VA itself, to register for the VA, you have to have 2 years of active duty. Doesn't have to be combat, but it has to be active duty. And that's changed over the years too. So it depends when you came in. So like before 1980, you just needed to have enlisted. Then after that, they changed it to the 2-year rule. So it goes up and down. So it's a much more complicated question than you would think, because every agency has a different idea of what a veteran is. But as long as we know that they enlisted somewhere, and that if they say they are a veteran, the tricky part is people who were in the Guard or Reserve and never got activated. So they only did their drills and that's it. But there's even rules now where they say, I think it's 20 years. If they did 20 years in the Guard or Reserve, that still counts also now. So that's something new. And but in the past, that was an issue too. Like people did a whole bunch of years in the Guard Reserve, but just never got activated. I think you'll find most of the newer veterans now, most of them have been activated at some point, even if they were in the Guard or Reserve. So you could be in the Guard for like 3 years and have a 6-month tour of duty. That would make you a veteran. So it's tricky.
Okay.
And so just lastly, here's again our contact information. I know Jana was going to share this with everyone, and I know you're recording this session, but again, just to highlight, so our office is actually off of Haight Avenue, right across from Millman's T-shirts, right off the Arterial and Fowler Avenue. And then we also have our main office numbers, our Project Hope numbers. You can also check us out on the web. If you just go to mhaduchess.org, there's going to be a little icon where it has the veterans programs. You can click into that. It lists out all of our programs, all our names. And then you can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Alyssa does send out a lot of weekly updates to all our veterans that highlight all of the different events that are going on, other ones that we're hosting, our support groups, or anything that is veteran related. I know Adam sends out his newsletters all the time to his distro list. So, we try to hit as many veterans as we can, get them involved as best we can. And, we're just ensuring that we don't leave any veteran behind out there that's, wants to be a part of the community.
I think it's important for the legal community to understand it's really hard for, I think, people in general, but especially veterans, to ask for help. Sometimes that's what I encounter, whether it was, in private practice or now as a judge. I preside over the treatment court. I certainly see this a lot. It's very hard to ask for help, to acknowledge you need help, or you may be struggling, or you may have some event going on that's triggering you. And so the more that I think people in the community are aware of all of these services, the more we can look out for each other. At the end of the day, that's really what this presentation is about, is actually caring a little bit about the people in our community, knowing what these wonderful services are, so that if it does come up, you have a direction or a resource that you can point to, because I guarantee you at some point you will come across in some aspect of your life a veteran who can benefit from these services.
Absolutely. And, you really just kind of hit that on top of the head there. That's exactly it. A lot of times veterans do struggle with actually, kind of raising their hand and saying, I do need some help. Or they just don't even know that the help's out there. They don't know what's readily available to them, or what they're entitled to, all of those, great benefits and resources that we have. So, based on our presentation and what you're able to see, we have that. And if we don't have the answer, we'll get the answer, and we'll get you in touch with the person that you need to be in touch with. So again, like you said, if you have a veteran that ever needs anything, we're here.
Well, so as a sitting judge, it's inappropriate for me to plug anything, but I'm going to ask you to tell everybody about Tom's book, if anybody is interested in it. I know I picked up my copy, but I think it would be a great book for anybody. I know the Bar Association was talking about a book club, so maybe we could just tell them a little bit about his book that's coming out. And I will also tell you, the American Legion in Wappingers has a 5K next weekend, April 17th, I believe it is, this Saturday. You can go to the Town of Wappingers website. I signed up for that 5K, but again, it's also another organization that you're doing something good in the community, and it's good for your health to get involved in that run too, which I think is something all lawyers need to be aware of, is just focusing on yourself and your health a little bit too. So you can check out that 5K, but with regard to the book, if they're interested in Tom's book, where can they find that?
Yeah, that's right. So Tommy Zerhelen, the VFW Post Commander of 170, as well as the kind of the director of the Vet Zero project, he walked across America a couple summers ago, and basically he captured his stories and everything that transpired while he was on that, because the whole premise of it was him, raising awareness for veteran suicide. So the name of his book is The Low Road. And it just, like I said, just talks about his stories, and you can find that directly on their HudsonRiverHousing.org, or I know it's on the Facebook for them, and he's posted it on his VFW Post 170. And if I have a moment here, I do want to capture Tyler Mendelson. He's a bit shy about it, but he actually does highlight a lot of veteran issues, but in a different way. He is more focused on short films, and he has won numerous awards and accolades for his films. if you can ever check it out, he really highlights, veteran suicide. And he actually does a dramatic tale of from World War One. I mean, just really great stuff. And, he's a good guy to work with here, but you could definitely check out his films because that's a very good talent of his. You can go to YouTube, Tyler Mendelsohn Films. You can even check him out on the web. So, if you ever want to watch something as well.
Just actually on Tommy's book, tonight at 6 o'clock, Marist is doing a virtual event for him to celebrate the launch of the book. And I don't believe you have to be, it's an alumni event, but I don't think you have to be an alumni to attend. So if anybody wants that link, email me, I can forward that to you. And then actually, Alyssa, you typed something in the chat. Can you talk about that a little bit real quick?
Yeah,
That looks interesting.
It came up scheduled after we did our slides, but I did want to put it out. Duchess has a program called Way to Work. And that program uses financial literacy programs and a vehicle maintenance instruction program. And they help get people their driver's licenses, learner's permits, and in some cases vehicles as well, if that is a need. And so we are doing an informational Zoom on the 15th at 6 p.m. with them. So if you have any veteran clients or if you work with veterans often, you might find this program interesting and helpful. Their funds are out there to help support getting people back on track to be able to get to work. And so it's a great program.
I want to just take a second to thank Jana for helping or put this together and handle the technology side of it. You're always so helpful and supporting my my ideas to try to get information out to the community. I really want to thank the panel for taking some time out of your day to get this information out to the community. I think as a legal community, we're sort of, we're always busy just trying to get through the day. So, to take time out and try and, learn about all these different services. Sometimes it's hard. So I appreciate that you're going to keep the recording up on the website. And again, I'd be more than happy, in addition to everyone there, to be a resource to point you in the right direction if it comes up on any legal issues. You can always contact my chambers with any questions. And thank you to everybody that came and observed. I think as a community, we can really help make a difference in people's lives when we work together like this. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know on behalf of everyone here